Well, here it is, Sunday. Well, the glasses, I can't see worth shit. It's August 23rd, 2020, and it's 5:48 in the evening at this point. Weaver John C., Roseman, California. Yeah. I have made a lot of videos concerning about my own viewpoints, my own history, my own life. And they are my own viewpoints. Everyone else has got them. But what I can't stand is when everybody else thinks that someone else's viewpoint is gospel without doing the homework. They like the viewpoint, they want to spread it around, fine. But they also have to remember that there's going to be people countering it, like myself, who have to back check, who have to fact check, who have to make sure if that information is accurate, because if it isn't accurate, then people get pissed off because they want to listen to the only source. They want to know if there's any other kind of differing opinions. But taking it when it comes down for history in interpreting Democrats versus Republicans and how they screw this damn thing all the damn time. People have forgotten that parties can switch their platforms around. And they don't do their homework. They don't research. I have been, and still is, a college puke, a libturd, a libtard, whatever the hell they would call them, attending a liberal community college in a desert community called Lancaster. It's called Antelope Valley College. Without it being snide, snobbish, and God knows what else we got going on. They value different opinions. They value conflict. They value people's minds opening up and challenging and questioning. They encourage that. I try to emulate those values. What I can't emulate at this point over here is accepting someone else's word of what history is when I've learned something else differently and understand it a hell of a lot better than the other schmuck. I've seen a lot of people keep screwing this damn thing up left and right concerning about history. Democratic history versus Republican history. How did Democrats started? Well, let's see. They were Southern plantation owners. They were slave owners. They liked individual state rights. They wanted everybody else to leave them alone while they ran their own business. And they didn't like anybody else telling them what their business was. That's how they viewed big business during that time. Actually, that's how they viewed big government. Business was it. Laissez-faire. Capitalism. Screw individual rights at this point over here, except for their own, the rich versus the slaves. That's how certain viewpoints usually get screwed up in the first place. And what happens in the North? We get rid of the damn slaves because we didn't like the slaves. We liked them, treated them as individual people and tried to educate them as such. Great compromise, they called our U.S. Constitution when the 13 colonies were started. And each colony was a hell of a lot different. Some supported state rights, others didn't. We left a process called the amendments in place to make the changes in the Constitution. That's what we did. And the Democratic Party at that time were slave owners from the Deep South. And all the way, they kept that belief and that party name all the way through the Civil War. Called themselves the Confederacy. While the Union, who had other ideas about industrialization, treating people, some of us, as individual rights, but they still had a problem concerning about runaway slaves because they looked at that and thinking, well, they're still property, and they still have to be sent back to the plantations. Bad mistake on their part. And the Reconstruction period happened after the Civil War. And it continued on for about, what, 10, 15, 20, longer than that? About one or two administrations. Actually, how many presidents did we have during that time? Quite a number. there was changes, and the Reconstruction period was ended, and then after that, we really had to gel like a country, though. We had to. We're torn each other apart concerning about our own individual viewpoints versus the collective good at this point over here, but we weren't communists. We weren't socialists. We're two different diametrically opposed parties at the point over there. But something happened during the early 1900s, and even during a flu, and even during a world war, that somehow the party platforms had switched. The Democrats wanted to be progressives, like the Republicans were, like the Whig Party that turned into Republicans right after the Civil War, and they were still trying to be progressives. But something happened, and they changed. And the Democrats finally decided they wanted to do what the Republicans did back then. And the Republicans decided they wanted to be conservative. And that flowed through. We had Republicans and we had Democrats working, sometimes conflicting with each other, but not as majorly as we had these days. Back in the 1900s, all the way up to the 2000s. Trying to make the world, or actually trying to make the country, just a little bit better than it was a long time ago. Slow steps. Hard, painful, long-fought steps. For equality for all of us. Men, women, children, different colors of races, sexes. And it's still not over yet. Because the civil rights movement is still ongoing. And we have to keep it going because our rights are constantly threatened. I'm not talking about skin color. I'm not talking about sexism. I'm not talking about everybody. Regardless of nationality and your, however you were born. If you were born in this country, if you signed a pledge to our country, the United States of America, to be a U.S. citizen, there are rights for all of us. We can't forget that. But we have forgotten that. We keep going after each other with this division and derision all the damn time. We're doing the same damn stuff as we did back in the 1800s. And even earlier than that. We got the mindset of it. Hell, let's just go back to the Dark Ages, okay? We'll just deal with the Dark Ages. We'll just change our country into the Dark Ages and let all the priests say that we're going to have God rule everything, and then everything else is for the church. Everything else for this focused area here. Everybody else doesn't matter because this is the only thing that matters. You are all sinners. I can't tell you how many times I keep seeing this stuff being posted on Facebook all around the place. And not to mention people that keep saying, well, this conspiracy and that conspiracy and this one and that's it. We got deep state here, we got deep state there, we got massive media control, we got this, look at this thesis, look at that thing over here. Oh my God, look at all this stuff happening over here. People do not know how to take things into context. And they think it's happening right now. And the thing of it is, we have a Bill of Rights in the United States of America that would guarantee us freedom of speech that the government cannot intrude on. But with a lot of Supreme Court of the United States rulings, has changed the First Amendment, twisted it a bit. Corporations now declare themselves as citizens. So now everything on social media, people are bitching or griping about, including if they've got the information accurate or not. Welcome to the 21st century. Now deal with it. You guys got issues concerning about your politicians, about how things are doing. Well, discussion is one way of doing it. And in November, The ballot also speaks. And how you want this country run. Because in this country, majority rules when it comes down for the Electoral College, because we haven't got rid of the damn thing yet. If we had the popular vote, things would have been a hell of a lot different in every election. But because of the electoral vote that we had, Electoral College system, every state has a unequal representation concerning about electors. Every state has problems concerning about getting their politicians into Congress because they may or not be in the right political party or have been selected out because of gerrymandering. And the only function of Congress right now that actually has an equal vote is the Senate. 50 states, 100 senators, 2 senators each state. Look it up. I've heard people trying to find conspiracies in everything and anything, but they don't find as facts. They chop up different clips left and right and try to make their own facts out of it. You guys are almost as bad as censors, censoring the information. But that's the other argument concerning about the media right now as it is, because they feel media is censoring everything. And media has a way of changing our viewpoints left and right. It always has ever since we had the printing press. How do you think we had the Revolutionary War started in the first place? We had our viewpoints changed. How do you think things have changed regarding our wars, regarding our conflicts, regarding the information? But we have to trust the media because they're also trying to give us facts. Now, unless we know personally, unless we've been there physically to see it and then record it and then put it out there, we have to go by whatever sources we can try to research. But not just one source, but many sources. Many. Just to get their actual facts. Because right now, we're confused. And this is social media for you. This is the age of the internet at this point over here. We wanted free information shared when the thing was getting out there in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. We had AOL, CompuServe, God knows whatever the kind of user groups we had out there. And then we had the major internets, and we had the Google, we had the Yahoos, and we had the other groups heading up. We had the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchats, TikTok, God knows what else we got going on out there. Just to get the word out, whatever it is. And YouTube too. Well, we haven't seen did we ever see actually truth coming out? I hear medical information coming from different doctors left and right. I trust in the science concerning about COVID-19. Politics and a different story altogether is all opinions. That's all it is. Unless you have all the damn facts, you don't know anything. I know, because politics is still a muddy game to play at this point over here. We're playing politics and everything. In our medical and our lives and everything else. And yes, we do have media influencing us on that one as well. We cannot be ignorant, but we cannot just hold on to one particular item. We have to research. Social media is an animal that keeps changing left and right. You cannot be stuck just by one source. You have to research the other sources. You have to understand what's going on around you. You just can't accept word of one thing and just listen to it as gospel. You have to understand the dynamics, the complexity of it all, no matter how confusing and conflicting it is. This all affects us in every way, shape, or form. The only thing I hold absolute truthful is the weather. Why? Because I can see weather. Weather changes. That's truth. I can see things on a radar. If it's coming down my way with storms, fine. If it doesn't, it's clear. That's also truth. It's hot. That's truth. That's honesty. That's science. Medicine's subjective. Different story on this one. We have issues regarding vaccinations. That's going to be another time and another video on that one. Question everything. Be skeptical of everything. Understand what's going on around you. Accept nothing at face value, except what your gut tells you. That's the only thing you can go by is your gut these days. End of lecture.